Tonight on your DC News Now at 6, fatal lightning strike. 3 people are dead and another is hospitalized after being struck by lightning near the White House. What family members have to say. Plus, testing negative. President Biden can finally leave isolation after suffering from a rebound case of COVID-19. How the president is faring. Your News at 6 starts right now. Well, good evening and welcome to DC News Now at 6. I'm Marielle Carbone. We begin tonight with the soaring temperatures throughout the region. Joining us now is meteorologist Scott Sumner with the latest on today's weather outlook. Hi, Scott.
Hello, Marielle, and hello to you on this Saturday. Yeah, the heat is on. I tell you what, it is blazing hot out there with temperatures pretty high, and it's feeling quite warm. Now, we had some storms due to the high heat here over the last couple of days, checking on some of the power outages across the area. As you note by that map, there's still several hundred power outages in not only Virginia, but the bulk of it in Maryland at this point in time. So, yeah, that's something we'll have to continue to watch, as we'll continue to watch the heat stick around here as well for a couple days. We'll break it all down for you. Have your complete 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes from now. Stick around.
Well, tragedy just steps away from the White House. 4 people struck by lightning. 3 of them are now dead. Tonight, we're learning more about 2 of the victims, a couple who came to Washington, D.C. for their 56th wedding anniversary. Jim Mueller was 76. Donna Mueller was 75. Both were hit and killed by lightning during Thursday's violent storm. Now, Michelle McNett tells DC News Now that her aunt and uncle leave behind 5 kids, 10 grandkids, 2 great-grandkids, and that they're also leaving behind a legacy of love and care.
They were just really good people and would do anything for anybody.
56 years after they wed, Wisconsin couple Jim and Donna Mueller died when lightning struck during a trip to the district. They were here celebrating their wedding anniversary.
They were doing what they loved best. They were there because they were still deeply in love from high school 56 years later, and just to enjoy each other and this great country.
Their niece, Michelle McNett, said she had grown closer with her aunt and uncle recently. They were there constantly when McNett's dad, Donna's brother, was battling cancer. He died this past May.
I think it's just kind of a comfort that he's waiting there for them.
Friday night, D.C. police confirmed a 3rd person died from the lightning strike, though it did not say who the person was. We know he was 29 years old and his family has not yet been notified. A 4th person, a woman, is still recovering after suffering injuries. As for the Muellers, McNett says their 5 children are still in shock, but the family can take comfort knowing the legacy they leave behind.
Donna and Jim was so well loved that it's just shown us that even through tragedy, once we come together, we can get through anything.
And President Biden has since responded to what happened, writing, "Our hearts are with the families who lost loved ones, and we are still praying for those fighting for their lives." Now, according to the CDC, the risk of being struck by lightning is low, but the consequences are serious. From 2006 through 2021, lightning caused an average of 28 deaths per year in the United States. Now, when you do see lightning, the National Weather Service says to go inside right away. You don't want to touch any sinks or faucets or anything plugged into an electrical outlet. You should also stay away from outside doors and windows and wait 30 minutes before going outside once a storm stops. Now, the DMV saw a night of heavy rain, high winds, and downed trees on Friday and this evening. Plenty of people, they are still without power. As of now, we are receiving reports of over 300 outages in Virginia. Meanwhile, in D.C., most outages have been taken care of, and we are only seeing slightly over 30 outages. However, it was Maryland that was hardest hit by the storm over the weekend. The past 2 days, with crews scrambling to restore power to over 55,000 people over a 2-day period. As you can see from this graphic, from Thursday to today, crews were able to restore power to most of the state, but currently there are just over 3,000 residents still without power, mostly centered in Baltimore and Hyattsville. We will keep an eye on those numbers as work is done to restore power in the area. And we also have an update on Thursday's library shooting out of Anacostia, Washington, D.C. An arrest has been made in the death of library police officer Mauricia Mannion. Now, the Metropolitan Police Department says that they have arrested 58-year-old Jesse Porter, who is being charged with involuntary manslaughter after the death of Mannion. Now, Porter was a member of the Metro Police for 33 years before opening his own tactical training company. He was conducting baton training at the library on Thursday. Police say Porter was in the conference room with trainees, which is where he fired his gun, killing Mannion.
Yes, ma'am.
And you guys are saying, gun, that never happened on that video. I seen it. It never happened. And you talk about gun exchange, that never happened. Don't do that.
Tense moments when a grieving woman confronted D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser. Her brother, Kevin Hartsgrave-Shurd, was shot and killed by police last week. Now, what happened after police and other leaders in D.C. released body camera footage of that shooting? The video is raising a lot of questions from community members. Now, police continuously stated they don't have all the answers because this is an ongoing investigation. Yamari Sese reports on what we know and still don't know. A warning, some of the video you are about to see may be difficult to watch.
On July 30th, Kevin Hargrave-Shurd lost his life in an officer-involved shooting in Northwest D.C. Police believed he and others were involved in the shooting minutes before near Longfellow Street and Georgia Avenue. 2 teens were hurt there.
Were alerted that the individual was still in the alley. Officers spotted this person and a brief foot chase began until our members witnessed him jumping into a white sedan with several other people inside of the vehicle. The vehicle sped off.
When Sergeant Ronaldo Otero Camacho spotted the car near Longfellow Street and Madison Street, you can hear the officer yelling as Hargrave-Shurd is running from the scene.
Gun! Shot fire! 1 man down. We got a gun. Gun down. We got a gun and we got a man down. Send me the boy.
Police say this gun was found on the scene, but it's not clear in the body cam footage. It's also unknown whether or not Hargrave-Shurd was pointing anything towards officers. But what we do know...
You know yet is that handgun had been fired?
It had not been fired. It had not been fired.
His sister, Serena Hargraves, does not believe police.
There's no gun right there. It's his phone. It shows the officers running up that eventually came on scene and kneeling beside him. If there was a gun, they gonna kneel on top of the gun? It didn't happen.
And she says she wants justice.
He murdered my brother. That's it. That's it. Point blank, period. And I need him I need him to be prosecuted to the fullest extent.
And the officer involved is on administrative leave, and both D.C. Police and the U.S. Attorney's Office are investigating. Now, the mayor says it's unclear how long it will take for those investigations, but they will not rush the process. Well, this is the second officer-involved shooting in Washington, D.C. in a 2-week period. Last night, there was a small rally to honor the 2 men killed. Those who showed up are demanding transparency from police and the mayor's office and are calling on investigators to answer questions about the killings of Hartsgrave-Shurd and Lazarus David Wilson, who was killed at the wharf late last month by an off-duty police officer. Well, the National Guard is denying assistance to Mayor Muriel Bowser for what she is calling a humanitarian crisis. Since mid-July, more than 6,000 migrants have arrived in the district, bussed here from governors in Arizona and Texas. Now, Bowser requested 150 National Guard members to help provide mass housing for migrants as they are processed. But that request, as we mentioned, was denied, with U.S. defense officials saying the request is too open-ended. Instead, the work is now falling on D.C.-based humanitarian groups. FEMA is providing a $1 million grant to help with resources. Well, pop artist Andy Warhol would have been 58 today, and to celebrate his birthday, the FBI wants you to keep an eye out for stolen Warhol prints. These pieces were part of Warhol's famous Campbell's Soup collection, originally given to the Springfield Art Museum in 1985. Now, 7 of the 10 prints in the collection were stolen back in April of 2016. You can see more information on those stolen prints on the FBI's website, and you can send the FBI a tip through their website or over the phone or at your local FBI office. Well, after contracting COVID a second time, President Biden has once again tested negative. The announcement came from the president's physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, who says that Biden will continue to self-isolate until he receives a second negative test result. Now, we're told, aside from a cough, the president is in good health, and President Biden announced his second COVID infection only 3 days after receiving a clean bill of health. Biden was taking Paxlovid, an antiviral medicine with a 5 to 8% chance of COVID rebound. The president has been working even in self-isolation. Well, yesterday, Virginia state regulators gave Dominion Energy the go-ahead to build a wind farm off the shore of Virginia Beach. Now, the company, it says that it will be building that about 27 miles from the shore. They say they are also reviewing the approval order for specific power output, among other things. Well, Indiana has become the first state to pass a new anti-abortion legislation after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Now, the new ban will allow for abortions in cases of rape and incest, and if the fetus is deemed lethal to the mother. However, abortions, they can only be performed at state-run hospitals, meaning abortion clinics will lose their licenses. It also places more pressure on doctors since any abortions performed illegally will result in them being stripped of their license. Now, senators on both sides have spoken out against this ban, noting how it'll affect low-income women and the state's healthcare system as a whole. The ban will take effect on September 15th. All right, some of the sounds. There we go. All right, those sounds that you heard right there, they were sounds heard around the world this week after the ruby red state of Kansas resoundingly rejected a ballot measure which would have paved the way for a statewide abortion ban there. With less than 100 days until midterm elections, the results, they have Democrats hopeful and Republicans worried. News Nation has this story.
A political earthquake in Kansas that is sending aftershocks across the nation.
Knowing that Kansans still have a constitutional right to make their own private medical decisions and to get abortion access, it is so important.
A constitutional amendment that could have reshaped women's rights from western Kansas to the Missouri border fell short by nearly 20 points. A victory for Rachel Sweet, the campaign manager for one of the organizations that led this movement. She says it was bigger than what political party you were a part of.
It is clear that Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, unaffiliated voters across the state were voting no in record numbers.
Turnout in the state of Kansas surpassing any previous primary, with over 50% of voters making their feelings felt.
Grassroots support and campaigns really can work, and that's what we saw play out in Kansas.
The grassroots organizing reaching nearly 1 million Kansans, and the results of this race drawing the eye of President Biden, who says in part, this vote makes clear what we know. The majority of Americans agree that women should have access to abortion and the right to make their own health care decisions.
I think Kansas is sending the message that we definitely do not want politicians being the ones to make our reproductive health care decisions.
In the end, the no side understands how much the stakes rose when Roe v. Wade was gone.
You might have agreed, but maybe you wouldn't have taken time off work or figured out childcare to get to the polls before. But when Roe fell, people saw the backstop is the state protection, and we have to keep it.
And this week, a judge ruled that West Virginia Medicaid must cover treatments for transgender individuals. The decision was ruled on Tuesday. The LGBTQ interest group Lambda Legal brought the case to the judge, saying that not covering gender confirmation care violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. Now, the lawsuit was originally filed in 2020 on behalf of Christopher Fain, who was denied coverage for both his testosterone coverage and a bilateral mastectomy. And a 66-year-old man is being charged for hate crimes after vandalizing a church in Anne Arundel County, Maryland. Now, police say the man, Donald Eugene Hood Jr., wrote an offensive message on the inside door to the Kingdom Celebration Center on Wednesday. Hood was arrested on Friday and is being charged with malicious destruction of property and 3 other counts. The church is known to serve the Black community in the area. with this not being the first time such vandalism has happened. Now, according to Anne Arundel County Executive Stuart Pittman, this is the second vandalism the church has seen in a matter of weeks. Hood was released after his hearing with the county commissioner. However, his case is still open and he could be subject to more charges.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Scott Sumner. Most of the viewing area has been quiet and void of showers and thunderstorms, but not out towards the west. You're seeing some of those build across the area. This is the latest radar across Allegheny County in western Maryland. Could contain a little bit of hail in that. Not a very tall thunderstorm, but does have, obviously, as you can see with the indicator here, some lightning, cloud-to-ground lightning. And a lot of the storms that you'll see over the next several days will be more of a soaking rain, so the concern will be flooding more than anything else, more than wind, more than tornadoes, or more than hail. So we are watching it, but again, I widen out the view because you see really majority of the viewing public here this Saturday is not seeing too much activity, except again a few isolated showers and storms up towards western Maryland's way. Now, out in this direction, there is a flood watch in effect that does cover several counties, 5 counties in Virginia here, Clark County, Warren County. We're looking at Shenandoah. We're looking at Page here, for example. This flood watch runs till 8 o'clock. You say, well, why is there a flood watch? There's not a lot of rain going on currently, but there has been several days of rain, as you note here, over the last 3 days in this general area. 1 1/3 to almost 2 inches of rain falling in that area that's under the flood watch just for a couple of more hours. So if you get some heavier rain already on saturated ground, well, that's going to only exacerbate the situation here as we go throughout the evening. Now, getting to temperatures, well, that's been hot out there, as you well know, and you're seeing upper 80s here, but it's really the humidity that's hit everybody hard. So when you factor in the humidity, it actually feels like the upper 90s at Manassas and Leesburg, Frederick, 102 at Westminster, 93 at D.C., 99 at Waldorf. Now, we are seeing some heavier rain and some thunder and lightning. Obviously, your temperatures have dropped into the middle 70s quickly, and the lower 80s there as well. Stick around. I'll have your full 7-day forecast coming up.
Well, still to come on DC News Now at 6, the results from this year's CPAC Straw Poll. Who came out on top and who fell short? Next. And a new health emergency in the United States, what the White House is doing to step up the fight against monkeypox.